Welcome to Reflections, a program where we discuss values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and the society in general. I am Father George Ehusani, and in this holy season, I have with me Reverend Father Zacharia Samjumi.
I'm happy to be here.
Father Samjumi is the Secretary General of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria. He has been Director of Pastoral Agents for the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria and also Director of Church and Society for the Catholic Secretariat, and now he is a Secretary General. And I have called you here for us to discuss the Passion Week and the meaning of the Passion Week for us Christians. This is the week between Palm Sunday and Holy Saturday, where we celebrate the suffering of Jesus. We dramatize the suffering of Jesus, and we hear the stories of the suffering servant, the innocent one who was crucified, who was tortured and killed. We're going to be celebrating on Easter Sunday that he rose from the dead, nevertheless. Yeah. However, the innocent person who suffered at the hands of evil people. At Mass, my people had a problem with the section of the reading that says, "It has pleased the Lord to crush his servant." The Isaiah passage, "It has pleased the Lord to crush his servant." Now, what is the meaning of this? I mean, St. Paul discusses it at length in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, when he was discussing the foolishness of God that is wiser than human wisdom. The cross that is foolishness to Gentiles and a scandal to the Jews. So, what is the meaning of this Passion Week for Christians?
I think it's a very beautiful moment to reflect, particularly given our situation in Nigeria. The Passion Week itself, as Christians, is to retell the story of how Jesus suffered for the good of all of us, deliberately giving in himself, because he knew what the outcome would be like.
He knew that the suffering was coming.
He knew the suffering was coming, and he knew what would be the consequence of that suffering at the end of the day. Yes. So I think that, that every year we celebrate that moment that Jesus took that decision to go in, to accept suffering, knowing that he will come out victorious. You know, one of the passages that comes to one's mind is Philippians chapter 2, verse 6 to 11. His state was divine. He did not cling to his equality with God, but emptied himself, took the form of a slave. But God raised him and gave him... Yes.
So, what is it that, Nigerians, when you talk of suffering, Nigerians keep saying, it's not my portion. Suffering is not my portion.
Right.
I mean, and Jesus has died for me, so it's not my portion to suffer. What's your response to that?
Well, true. Humanly speaking, all of us, we really don't want suffering, unless we put it side by side with the fact of our supernatural goal that we are going into heaven. I think you mentioned St. Paul. I would like to also make reference to St. Paul. He had gone through a lot of experiences. He says, in whatever situation, give thanks to God. In whatever situation you find yourself, give thanks to God. His reason is this, that yes, we as humans, we do not know everything. We perhaps have just small knowledge of all that exists. But God knows every detail. He knows every detail. Something that comes to us as suffering now might actually spell goodness later on.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be goodness later on. Something that comes to you as pain, it will push you towards taking a decision that will be good, not only for yourself, but perhaps for others as well.
So, thinking about the cross of Christ and Passion Week, we can liken it to what they call deferred gratification. Suffer now
and enjoy later.
Yes.
Right. I will not completely put it that way, but I would say that suffering, accepting that moment of suffering, but with the hope that God will vindicate.
Okay.
Yes.
So the innocent is suffering now.
Yes.
But the innocent
will be vindicated.
Hopes, believes
yes,
that he will be vindicated.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the relationship between this, what we are celebrating this week, and the popular saying, no cross, no crown? Meaning, there's no crown without
pains.
Crown.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but that is true. If we look at even regular human experience, many people, their life experiences, there are many people, we take for example, might not be concrete example, but Jonathan, who always would say that he grew up as a very poor child, even going to school. He used to wear, he had no shoes at all. So that is a metaphor to tell you that he had actually a very tough childhood upbringing. But over time, he was vindicated. Everything was like put in place for him.
But whenever they say that, one of the things they forget is Jonathan and I are about the same age.
Yes.
What they forget is that at that time, none of us went to school with shoes. the primary school, only the teachers had shoes. I mean, nationwide.
Yeah.
I mean, the primary school children didn't have shoes. So it is not necessarily because he was poor. It's just that it was normal. It was normal to go around. It's like, okay, if you go back to the 1920s and 1920s, 1917, 18, 1920, people went to school naked. So the rich ones wore some cloth. I mean, some cloth that they used to sleep.
Yeah.
They wore it to school. So it's not because they were poor. It's just that
that was the available thing at the moment.
Available thing at the time. Anyway,
right. So, but the point is that definitely there are moments that people go into pains. Not that they wish to go in, but they endure it. They walk through it. And you would see that gradually the pains, accepting these great difficulties in their lives, subsequently God blesses them with something.
St. Paul says in Romans chapter 8 that God is able, for those who love him, God is able to turn all things unto good. Is there something linked to that here?
Yeah, I think so. That is it. That you do not suffer in vain.
If you are a believer.
If you are a believer, you don't suffer in vain. Yeah, you will go on with this pain, knowing that God will vindicate you.
And that knowledge that God will vindicate me helps me to go through the most difficult times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think too that is the essence of making even sacrifice. That you accept to make sacrifice because you know
there's something beyond
something that is coming beyond. You don't know how it will come, but you know that your sacrifices will not be in vain.
Isn't that something about how do people who do not believe, how do they cope emotionally, psychologically during periods of tribulation? People who do not believe there's eternal life, who do not believe there's life after, how do you think they cope? Because it must be tough. It must be tough.
Be very tough. I mean, Father, you know that people who commit suicide, because hope is finished. The moment there is no hope, I dare to say that you might not even survive up to 3 minutes. Once there is no hope, you eliminate hope completely from your being. You will die in the next 3 minutes. You will die.
So hope is cardinal.
Hope is cardinal. Hope is cardinal. That despite whatever that you go through, you still think that some help somehow will come to you. You will survive it. You will endure it. At least to some extent, you will.
So hope is what keeps human beings through the most difficult
moments. Yes. Hope. Having that hope. And that is what we have as Christians. That is what we have as Christians. That Jesus suffered. He went through this just to give us that understanding that you will go through the same. You will experience something like you will experience pain. It's not totally taken away from you. But life is like this. But believe me, hold on to me. I am back to life. So you will have.
Yeah. So if it happened to Jesus and he overcame and has triumphed,
Yeah.
you and I can triumph.
We can triumph.
Now let's go to the Nigerian situation now.
Yes.
Perhaps since you were born, Nigeria has never been as bad as this.
I believe so.
Nigeria has never been as insecure. The rich and the poor alike, urban dwellers and village dwellers alike.
Yes.
Everybody goes to bed with only one eye closed because they could strike at any time.
Yes.
Terrorists, you are from Adamawa State.
I'm from Adamawa State.
So, terrorists, bandits, killer bandits, all over the place. How do you feel about it, this circumstance yourself?
Father, it is scary, to say the least. To say the least, it's scary. You are faced with all these things, and then the economy itself. Father, things are really difficult. They are really difficult. Nigerians are going through a lot. They are going through a lot. Thanks be to God that we have some way of living that sometimes we make jokes out of all this.
Yeah, but some people say it is precisely because of that our resilience that we are that they continue to oppress us and put us in this kind of situation. That's what some people say.
Without it, we won't survive. Without it, we will die like rats. Otherwise, what is happening to us? Take it somewhere else.
And they will die.
They will just die. They will die. But making fun of what we are going through helps us to survive. It helps us to survive. But the truth is, we are living in very difficult, tough, painful moments. Just as you have said, since I was born, I don't think I have experienced things like this.
And there doesn't seem to be materially, okay, we trust God, but there doesn't seem to be any indications that next tomorrow, things are getting better.
It doesn't look it. It doesn't look it. Perhaps when there is change in administration, perhaps.
But if it ends up being the same kind of characters?
Well, we still believe in God, that God touches them.
Okay, that God will touch them.
Yes.
So, what are the words as a priest? And you are Secretary General, so you are in a position to get your directors to take some measures and reach out to people. What kind of messages of comfort would you suggest that bishops and priests and pastors, Christian ministers give to their people at this time? The people are distressed. You are saying life is tough.
Yes.
They are harassed, they are dejected, they are distressed. Some are losing hope, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So what words of comfort would you, if you have 5 minutes to talk to all of Nigerian believers, what will you say to them?
Actually, I'll call attention to what has been, not only in Nigeria, but we look at God, the way God has dealt with his people. He brought them out, and they also experienced some moments of difficulties. There are moments that they became slaves. There were moments that some other people will take over them and govern them. And in all the situations, you see, they may suffer perhaps for 20 years, for 30 years, for 40 years, for 70 years. But God will always raise somebody that will bring about the emancipation, that will regenerate hope, Give these suffering people some kind of hope that they will now live again. You know of the prophet Ezekiel, who announces, dry bones shall arise. We know of the prophet Isaiah, who has prophesied hope. The Lord God will do new things. He's doing something new in your own time. Yes, as a people, we give thanks to God for God making us to be resilient. Whatever that happens to us, we find a way of surviving it. I believe it is God still carrying us, God still walking with us, God still accompanying us. The God we serve make us also go through these experiences so that we will be able to be strong and do things differently. It matters not how long we have gone through.
So you believe that what we are going through now, God has allowed it.
God has allowed it.
Because if God did not allow it, it will not happen.
It won't happen.
So as believers, we believe that God, it is not outside the purview of God.
Absolutely.
Our intense suffering in Nigeria today, God is seeing it.
He's seeing it.
God has allowed it.
Yes.
But that God has a plan.
He has a plan. He has a plan. He has a plan. We shall have somebody, somehow, sometime, that Nigerians will smile again. Around the 1980s or so, Ghanaians were trooping into Nigeria. Not only Ghanaians,
even 80s,
Pakistanis, Indians, and the rest. They were here. Then, unfortunately, in around 1984 or so, we asked Ghanaians to go back. Ghana was suffering the same thing at that time. They were going through the same. Today, we are running to Ghana. Many of our children are schooling in Ghana now. They are there. So what I'm saying is, yes, it's our turn. We have made wrong choices. We are going to pay for them. We are suffering because of the wrong choices others have made. Yes, God will not leave us like that.
So these lean years,
yes, yes,
to use biblical image, these lean years,
yes,
you think it can have some benefit for our nation? Are the people in charge, do you imagine that they are learning any lessons? You just said we have made wrong choices.
Yes.
Do you imagine that those who have ruled our country at various times, do they recognize that they have made wrong choices, do you think?
Perhaps for political reasons, they may not come out explicitly to say we accept this or something like that. But I am sure they know
that they have made wrong choices.
They have made wrong choices.
Some of the people who have put us in this mess today have taken care of their families. I mean, and many of them have shipped their families outside, their children schooled outside, they have houses outside. They take this place like a camp where they come to, make money and take out. So I'm really wondering whether many of them really, some of them think that they have been blessed while leaving us in this mess. I'm optimistic like you to hope that that in their quiet moments they recognize that they have made wrong choices. Because when they look back at the place they have run, people who have been governors, people who have been local government chairmen, people who have been ministers, when they look back at where they have been leaders and see the mess they left behind, I hope that it begins to strike them. And that before they go to their graves, before they go to meet their God, that many of the former leaders of Nigeria will really do some public apology to Nigeria for the mess they have been part of. Look at education, look at healthcare, look at roads, look at whatever. I don't know how leaders of, let's say leaders of northern Nigeria, for example, I don't know what they think of themselves when they can hardly go to their villages now. I do hope with you that somehow in the privacy of their hearts that they recognize that they have made some stupid mistakes, they have made some wrong choices.
I think many of our leaders do, they know. But you see, what perhaps we are looking forward to is to have somebody who will come out and begin to say, yes, we did wrong. Then you will see the ripple effect. Many others will join in that chorus.
So we need somebody coming out, some prominent leader coming out,
Yes,
and confessing.
Yeah. And confessing.
Yeah, we almost need something in the form of a truth and reconciliation kind of committee. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
yes.
and somebody can instigate it, inspire it, and let the young people who are growing up in this kind of destroyed environment, let them be told, oh, we are sorry, we made wrong choices.
Yeah.
And that has brought us to this end. Yeah. But then when you keep hearing, especially spokespersons of many of our leaders, speak down to us in a very condescending manner, as if we are having the best of times, when Nigerians are dying of agony, and as if we have no right to complain. You know, that is what we are seeing.
Yeah.
As if we have no
right to
why are we complaining?
Yes.
Yeah.
They say they are doing so much, and you don't see the so much.
I mean, if you are doing so much and we cannot see anything on the ground, too bad. You are not. Your best is not good enough.
If it's not, that is it. Yeah. But truly, we know that any administration, there are so many factors to it. Yes, they may have their own difficulties, but again, the wrong choices, as people say. When you tell one lie, you need 99 others to support the one lie. Because if you make one mistake, you continue making other mistakes in order to back up. You're trying to tell people, convince them that the decision I took there was not, after all, bad. Many of our leaders are caught up with this kind of situation. And the more they do this, the more we suffer. The more we suffer. So we truly need somebody to state, you know what, we are wrong in this way. And that is why in many other climes, people can resign. You say, I resign, I can't continue with this.
Well, that is a very scarce commodity in this country, and it
Yes.
hardly happens.
Yeah.
Otherwise, in the last few years, we should have had many people resigning. If everything is collapsing around you and you say you are in charge, but everything is collapsing around you.
Yeah. So that's the impunity that we talk about. You do those things and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Because even if you are accused or you are said that this is what has happened, you did this one wrong, your region will stand up and back you up, and then so that is why we have it very difficult. So that is why I started by saying that in fact we have made wrong choices in this country.
Yeah, and one of those choices you are referring to is that your ethnic group will stand up and say, it's our son, even when you are caught with billions.
Yes, yes.
You have done the most terrible thing for the country.
Yeah.
And your son, I mean, your ethnic group will welcome you with like a king. So we need to go. That's a wrong choice.
It's a wrong choice. It's a very wrong one. Very wrong. Very wrong. Very wrong. Very wrong. But again, the hope is still there. That one day, somebody will rise up. We need at least 2-3 in Nigeria as leaders who will inspire this enthusiasm of goodness, of bringing about the common good.
One of my own sources of hope, if I may say, right now many Nigerians are discouraged. Many Nigerians are losing hope. One of my own sources of hope is that what is happening today is against nature itself. I think that the way nature works, when a predator keeps devouring innocent, helpless creatures, if it gets into excesses, nature takes that predator out.
That is true.
Nature checks it out because there has to be a certain balance in nature, a certain equilibrium in nature, and nature cannot entertain one particular kind of creature subjugating, oppressing others towards extinction.
Right.
Nature.
Nature finds way of balancing. Yes, that is true.
So if injustice continues to go on, blatant injustice, blatant lies, falsehood, after some time, nature itself will balance the matter.
Nature itself will do that. Yeah.
I mean, and that's one of my own sources of hope, that it cannot, the unwholesome situation we're in today cannot continue forever.
It cannot. It cannot go on forever. It cannot go on forever. Something will happen. But again, as a religious person and a believer in the words of our Lord Jesus Christ, I still say that thing that you're talking about as nature will do something. I see the finger of God, in it. Yes, that is God. He will allow it until such a time, because He knows everything. He has every view around everything that happens. So, well, sometimes we say He has permitted it for so long, but no, it's not so long for him.
I mean, 1,000 years is like
just
a day.
That is it.
I mean, the parable of the Daniel and the wheat.
Absolutely.
It says, let them grow.
You let them grow together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and for him, like I said, 1,000 years is like a day. So what for us is looking so long?
It's just a blink of an eye. Yeah. So I think that is it. We have hope. We have hope that as Nigerians, we will find God will deliver us.
We have hope that God will deliver us.
Yes.
Yes. So that is your message during this holy season.
Yes.
That people who are suffering, Nigerians who are suffering, poverty, extreme poverty. Nigerians who are suffering extreme heightened insecurity. Nigerians who are suffering unemployment. Nigerians who are suffering, the most destructive times can look up to God at this time and say, the God who delivered Jesus
will deliver us.
The God who guaranteed something beyond Calvary when the Jews thought they had finished with him.
Yeah.
That God will see us beyond this present Calvary. Nigeria is on Calvary now.
That is it.
He will see us beyond Calvary.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I've been speaking with Father Zacharia Samjumi, Secretary General of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, and we've been discussing about the difficult times in Nigeria and the Passion Week and what the implications are. And he has spoken about hope. The most important implication for Nigeria is keep up the hope. The God who delivered Jesus from the cross, that God will see us through and take us to better days where we can smile as a people.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Father.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And happy Holy Week and happy Easter in advance.